Line drive, base hit, right field, the Royals win. 2-1. Darrell Porter does it again. Sliced up the left field line. Willie Wilson on the run, dives, and he makes a sensational catch, and the ball game is over. Line shot, base hit, center field. 5 for 5. Brett is now hitting .407 and gets another standing ovation. Swinging a high fly ball, deep right field. There she goes. Home run. Home run by Brett. And the Royals lead 4-2. Struck him out. Kansas City, you've got a World Series. The Royals are champions of the American League.
These were the sounds of Kansas City Royals baseball in the summer of 1980. A summer that will not soon be forgotten by the baseball followers of this Midwest metropolis. Since the Royals' inception in 1968, owner Ewing Kauffman vowed to make his team a contender in the American League West. Not a man of hollow promises, Kauffman was true to his word, and in the Royals' first 11 seasons, they were in the American League playoffs 3 times. However, they did not make that ultimate trip until the year of 1980. This latest chapter in the Royals' success story actually began on October 24th, 1979, when Jim Frey was introduced as the Royals' new manager. A veteran of 30 years in the game, Frey is a man of vast knowledge and determination when it comes to the game of baseball. He simply stated that he would get the most out of his 25 players, and that he did. The 1980 baseball season opened with a dark cloud hovering over its head. A threatened strike by Major League players could make this the shortest season on record. And in Kansas City, the Royals would enter this new campaign without the services of all-star catcher Darrell Porter, who had missed the first 3 weeks of the season with personal problems, and center fielder Amos Otis. He missed the first 2 months with a bad finger. Despite these obstacles, the Royals opened the season with the vim and vigor that would carry them throughout the 1980 campaign as they took 3 out of 4 from the Detroit Tigers. One of the first big series for the Royals in 1980 occurred on the final weekend in April, when the defending American League champion Baltimore Orioles invaded Royals Stadium for a 3-game set. In the opener, the Royals shut out the Birds 7-0, but the following afternoon, the Orioles blanked the Royals 4-0. In the rubber game, the Orioles took an early 2-0 lead, but the Royals came back in the 6th to tie it, and in the 7th, they went out in front to stay.
1-0 pitch to Wathan, line down the right field line, fair ball, hit it for the corner. Singleton can't cut it off. Wathan may touch them all. He's around second and headed for third, and they are going to stop him at third base with a triple. Here's the stretch, and again the 2-2 pitch. Jamie swings, base hit right field. The Royals lead 3-2. Jamie Quirk punches a single between first and second, and John Wathan scores the lead run.
The Royals really started to pick up the pace in mid-May when they went on a 9-game trip to Chicago, Boston, and New York. After dropping 2 out of 3 to the surprising White Sox, the Royals went into not-so-friendly Fenway Park and took 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox. Then it was on to that cavernous snake pit called Yankee Stadium, and they did the same to the high-flying New Yorkers. In the opener, the Royals had little trouble as they drubbed the Yankees 12-4. The next night, they again took the Yanks, this time by a score of 4-1. Darrell Porter got things started with a sacrifice fly that scored not 1, but 2 runs.
High fly ball, pretty well hit to left. It'll score the run. Washington tags. Mercer settles under the ball. And here comes UL Washington down the line. Frank Weiss trying for third. Wathan for second. Everybody's safe. Now the ball gets by the second baseman. Here comes White to score. The ball's in the dugout. And John Wathan is at third base.
Then a little later, Willie Aikens made it a 4-0 ball game.
Aikens waiting, and again, here comes the 2-2 pitch. High drive to deep right field. Back she goes. It is gone. Home run, Willie Aikens, his second of the year, and he hit it off the face of the upper deck. It is 4-0 Royals.
Following the series with the Yankees, the Royals returned home to face the California Angels. In the opening game of the series, the Royals found themselves down by a 1-0 score. But in the 8th, Willie Wilson practically single-handedly tied it up. Willie has a big lead. The stretch. There he goes. Frank White takes. Throw to second. Safe. Stolen base. Ground ball to the first baseman, Carew. He comes back to the bag and takes Frank White unassisted as Wilson moves to third. Into the dirt. It gets away, and here comes Wilson. In the 10th, it was that man again, Willie Wilson, who scored the winning run on a Darrell Porter single.
Line drive, base hit, right field. The Royals win 2-1. Darrell Porter does it again.
After this series, the vastly improved Oakland A's came to Royals Stadium for a 4-game set. In the opener of this series, the Royals were trailing by 3 in the ninth. But as Jim Frey had promised, all 25 men would contribute. And it became apparent what he meant in this game.
There's a drive into right field. Base hit for Wathan. He's 4 for 4. Bouncing ball, base hit to left. So Jerry Terrell gets his first hit, and that means the tying run comes to the plate. Lined into left field. That's going to be a base hit. 1 run is in, and the ball gets away from Henderson and rolls into the corner. 2 runs will score. Chalk will stop at second. Ground ball, base hit right field. Here comes Rusty Torres around third. Here's the throw toward the plate. Not in time. Tie ball game.
This game would be resolved in 11 innings with the Royals emerging victorious.
1 ball, no strikes. Hamilton's soft speed curve is lined into center field. Base hit. Here comes the winning run. Torres to the plate. He scores, and the Royals win it.
The Royals ended up taking 3 of the 4 games from Oakland and were zeroing in on first place in the American League West. But the date, May 22nd, had now arrived. This was the day that if there had not been an agreement between the players and management by midnight, there would have been a baseball strike. As we retired that night, it seemed a virtual certainty that this would be one of the shortest seasons on record. But the powers that be worked feverishly through those early morning hours and resolved the issues at hand. The baseball season would not be interrupted. And no team was more appreciative than the Kansas City Royals. On May 23rd, they went to Anaheim and beat the Angels to move into first place to stay.
0-2 on Clint. Bases loaded, 2 out. There's a little pop-up back of shortstop. Out goes Todd Cruz, and it drops. Wathan scores. Willie Aikens crossing the plate. Chalk goes to third on the play. There's a smash into center field. Base hit. The run is across. Frank White around second. He's on his way to third, and he's in there. George Brett hit a rocket into center field. It is 5-0 Royals as Wilson scores. George gets his 19th run batted in. Runners at first and third. There goes Brett from first. Smash base hit into right field. White scores. George Brett being waved home. Harlow finally up with the ball, and Wathan has a double and 2 RBIs. And it's 7-0 Royals. Shades of last night.
UL now with a 6-game hitting streak. The pitch to him. Fly ball center field. Hurdle tags at third. Harlow has the ball. Here comes Hurdle down the line. The throw towards the plate is cut off. A sacrifice fly for UL Washington, and it's now 8-0 Royals. Bases loaded, 2 out. Knapp to Wilson. Willie loops one into shallow left field. Joe Rudy on the move, and he can't get there. 1 run scores. Around third comes Hurdle. He's going to score. 10-2, the Royals lead the Angels. Wilson drives in 2 runs.
And there's a long drive to deep right field. Back goes Al Collins to the wall, and she's gone. Clint Hurdle, a 2-run homer. So the Royals have a 12-3 lead. The pitch to Joe Rudy. Ground ball to short. UL has got it. The throw to first, and the Royals have won it.
The Royals were flying now and reached the All-Star break with a record of 47-33, 8.5 games ahead of the Chicago White Sox. In their first game after the break, the Royals defeated the Detroit Tigers 3-2. This game marked the return of George Brett, who had been absent from the lineup for a month. In his first game back, Brett rapped out 2 hits and also made this sensational play in the field.
Ball's fastball is drilled. Brett a dive to his left, knocks it down, throws in time. What a play.
But the hero of this game turned out to be Willie Aikens when he broke up a 2-2 tie in the 6th inning with this round tripper.
So Wilcox has taken Aikens as far as he can, and the 3-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball is lifted to deep center. Back goes Lentine, away back to the wall. She's gone.
On July 18th, the Royals were at Yankee Stadium. There is nothing quite like a Yankee-Royal confrontation. In this one, the Royals took an early 2-0 advantage on a George Brett home run.
The 2-1 pitch to George Brett is hammered to right field and deep. Back goes Reggie Jackson, away back. It's gone, a home run.
In the 5th, Brett made it a 3-0 ball game.
Ground ball off the glove of the first baseman into right field. Wilson scores. Hal McRae around second on his way to third. And the Royals lead 3-0.
Then in the 6th, the Royals just broke it open.
Akins at third, Washington at second, White at first. The Royals now with a chance to bust this game wide open. The pitch to Wilson. Ground ball, base hit past the first baseman into the right field corner. Akins scores. Washington scores. Frank White will score. Now they're saying a spectator leaned over and interfered. There's a drive toward the left field corner. It is a fair ball. White will score. Wilson will score. McRae tries for second. He's in there.
Meanwhile, left-hander Larry Gura was flirting with a no-hitter. He finally lost it in the 7th.
Breaking ball, line to left field, base hit. So the Yankees had their first hit.
The Royals won the game 13-1 and eventually took the series 2-1, making it 6 out of 9 for the Yankees for the season. There were still 3 games left to be played between these two adversaries the following weekend in Kansas City. The Royals wanted to win the season series with the Yanks, and in the opener of this 3-game series, they guaranteed that, as Clint Hurdle did most of the damage.
High fly ball, deep right field. Back goes Gamble to the wall. It's off the wall. A run will score. Gamble now chasing the ball back toward right field. Clint Hurdle is being waved home. Here he comes. He's got a chance to make it. He is safe. A check on the runners and the 3-2 pitch to Clint Hurdle on the way. There's a looping liner, base hit to left field. Akins will score. Here comes John Wathan to score. 6-1 Royals.
Fly ball, well hit to left, but Wathan's back on the warning track. He's got it, and the ball game is over.
The Royals took the series 2-1, and for the season, they had taken 8 out of 12 from New York. However, their encounters with the Yankees in 1980 were not over yet. Following the Yankees series, the Boston Red Sox came to town. The two teams staged a wild and woolly affair in the first game. The Red Sox raced to an early lead before the Royals came back. Finally, in the 7th inning, George Brett tied it.
Drago's 3-1 pitch on the way. High fly ball, well hit to left. Back goes Jim Rice to the warning track. It is gone. And the ball game is tied.
Then in the 9th, George Brett saved it.
He bounces one to third. Brett has it. Coming home, and the play is made. He's out.
And in the bottom half of the inning, Brett, along with Amos Otis, won it.
A little looping fly ball out into left center, base hit. He's around first. He's on his way to second. The throw, safe. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Bouncing ball, Burleson to his left. Fumbles the ball, the Royals win it.
The Royals were really smoking now, especially against the American League Eastern Division teams. A week later in Detroit, Willie Wilson made this catch to stymie a Tiger rally and preserve a 5-4 Kansas City win.
Quisenberry trying to get the out. The stretch, the pitch. Sliced up the left field line. Willie Wilson on the run, dives, and he makes a sensational catch, and the ball game is over. Willie Wilson, a headlong dive down in the Tiger bullpen to save the ball game, perhaps. He crossed the foul line, made a backhanded catch, and Wilson has saved the game.
It was at this point in the season that George Brett was putting on the most torrid batting performance since the days of Ted Williams. On August 17th against Toronto, he hit in his 29th consecutive game, going 4 for 4, bringing his batting average up to .401.
Brett waiting. Clancy set the pitch. Lined into right center field, base hit. John Wathan at second base is going to hold right there, and Brett now has a 29-game hitting streak. Witt puts down a sign. Jim Clancy, the right-hander, into the stretch. And the first pitch to George Brett. Line fair up the right field line, base hit. White scores. Around second and headed for third comes Wathan. They're going to wave him home. Here he comes. The throw, safe. Brett has doubled. He is 3 for 3, and the Royals lead 4-2.
George hits a fly ball to left field, and it's going to be over the head of the left fielder, Origin, all the way to the wall. Washington scores. Otis scores. Wathan will score on the double.
Although Brett was capturing much of the attention not only in Kansas City but nationally, the Royals continued to play superlative baseball. On August 19th in Texas, they found themselves on the short end of a 3-1 score in the 9th inning. With Hal McRae, Amos Otis, and Willie Akins doing the honors, they came roaring back to win it.
McRae hits a line drive fair up the right field line into the corner. Washington will score. Hal McRae to second base. And a fan reached out and touched the ball, so they're going to give him 2 bases. Line drive, base hit right field. The game will be tied. Otis around first, puts on the brakes. The Royals have come from behind to score 2 in the 9th. Otis ripped one into right field. Johnson to Akins. A shot into center field. It's a base hit. The Royals take the lead as Otis scores. Wathan stops at second. And Akins 2 out of 4. It is 4-3 Royals.
Meanwhile, Brett continued his assault on the 400 mark. On August 26th in Milwaukee, he reached the 407 mark with a 5-hit performance.
Line shot, base hit center field. 5 for 5. Brett is now hitting 407 and gets another standing ovation.
At this point in the season, it was no longer a question of who was going to win the American League West, but when. As the sweltering heat of August turned hopefully to the gentle breezes of September, the Royals were 85-46 and led the West by 20 games.
Fly ball center field. Rick Miller there makes the catch. Wilson will score, and the Royals take a 1-0 lead. Lined into right center field, and that's going to be in there. 2 runs will score. Willie Wilson around first and puts on the brakes. So it's 3-0 Royals as Wilson drives in his 41st and 42nd runs of the year. Base hit center field for Frank White. Willie Akins being waved home. Here's the throw from Rick Miller. It's offline, and Akins scores, and Wathan to third. There goes Frank White from first. Ground ball, base hit left field, past the diving third baseman Carney Lansford. Wathan scores. White to third on the single by Clint Hurdle, and it's 5-0 Royals. Jason Thompson awaits the 3-2 pitch, and here it is. He struck him out. And the Royals have won the West. Dennis Leonard congratulated by all of his teammates. And the Royals have won their 4th Western Division championship in the last 5 years. So they clinched the Western Division title with their 90th win of the year. Dennis Leonard wins his 19th. The Royals are the best in the West.
So the Royals had wrapped up the Western Division title almost 3 weeks before the end of the regular season. Surely this would be the longest part of the campaign. However, there were a few things to be taken care of, namely George Brett's and Willie Wilson's assault on the record book. As the Royals played out the string, waiting to see whether their opponent would be the New York Yankees or the Baltimore Orioles in the championship playoffs, George Brett continued his pursuit of the lofty 400 plateau. After dipping below that mark, George vaulted back up there on September 19th against Oakland.
Here's the wind, the 1-2 pitch. Drilled into right field, base hit. Hal McRae will score, and Brett has singled. Drives in his 102nd run. And his average will go to 400.
But Brett was closing in on another record. It was the Royals' team record for RBIs in one season. On September 30th, against the Seattle Mariners, George set a new club record in rather dramatic fashion.
Here's the stretch. And the pitch to Brett. There's a drive. Deep right field. Way back. It is gone. Home run, and the Royals win it. George Brett, a 3-run homer in the bottom of the 14th inning, and the Royals win it 7-5. Number 23 for Brett. He establishes a Royals team record now with 115 RBIs.
Brett was having a sensational season. But because of the time he had missed due to injuries, there was a question of whether he would have enough required plate appearances. In the 158th game of the season, Brett made it.
Dressler ready, the 3-2 pitch. Driven into right center field. On the move is Reggie Walton. Base hit. It's up against the wall. Brett's at first, headed for second. In standing up with a double. He's hitting .391. 3 for 3 tonight.
George finished the season with a .390 average, the highest recorded in the major leagues since Ted Williams hit .406 in 1941. But Brett wasn't the only Royal having an incredible season. Relief pitcher Dan Quisenberry won 12 and saved 33 an all-time Kansas City save record. He was the American League's Fireman of the Year. Willie Wilson set an American League record for most consecutive stolen bases, and on September 23rd in Seattle, he smashed one of Brett's team records with his 216th hit of the year.
High bouncing ball up the middle. Grabbed by the second baseman to throw. Safe is Wilson. And that is base hit number 216 this year, and that is a new Royals team record.
Then in the next to last game of the season, Wilson set a horde of records.
Ground ball up the middle. Base hit. Around third to score comes Chalk. Mullinex headed for third, and Willie has done two things. He has tied the American League record for singles. He is the first man ever to record 700 at-bats in Major League history, and here comes a standing ovation for Willie.
Line drive, center field, there it is. One run is in. Here comes Clint Hurdle to the plate. He scores. And Willie has done it. Second man in history to collect at least 100 hits from each side of the plate.
Oh yes, we should mention that in this game, Dennis Leonard won his 20th game of the season, the third time in his career that he had reached that magic figure. So now it was on to the playoffs for the fourth time in the last 5 seasons. And for the fourth time in the last 5 years, their opponents were the New York Yankees. In past season competition, the Royals and Yankees had staged some memorable battles. Unfortunately for KC fans, the outcome always went the New Yorkers' way. Who will ever forget the 1976 and 1977 playoffs? Chambliss home run in New York to win it in '76. And the '77 playoffs also going down to the final inning of the final game before the Yankees put together a frantic rally to overcome a Kansas City lead and win the series. Then there was 1978 when the Yankees eliminated the Royals in 4 games. Yes, those New York Yankees did cast a tall shadow. In the opener of this best-of-5 confrontation at Royal Stadium, Larry Gura was pitted against Ron Guidry in a battle of left-handers. The Yankees took an early lead in the ballgame in the second inning when Rick Cerone and Lou Piniella hit back-to-back home runs.
The 2-1 pitch to Cerone, off speed and pounded toward the left field corner. If it stays fair, it's trouble. It is a home run for Rick Cerone. High fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Wilson, and this one is gone. A home run for Piniella. An off-speed curveball out over the plate, and Piniella waited and waited and waited. So back-to-back home runs by Cerone and Piniella. And the Royals are in a hole early. It's 2-0, and out comes manager Jim Frye.
But the Royals bounced right back in the bottom half of the inning when, with 2 on and 2 out, Frank White drilled one.
Fly ball, left center, shallow. Piniella got a bad jump, and it's going to drop in for a base hit, and the game is tied. White on his way to second base. He's safe.
In the third, the Royals loaded the bases on 2 walks, sandwiched between an Amos Otis double, bringing Willie Aikens to the plate.
Wind, and here comes the 3-1 pitch. Lined into left field, it is a base hit. Brett scores. Around third comes Otis to score. Watson trying for third, safe. 4-2 Royals. Aikens delivers the 2-run single, and the Royals are in front.
Meanwhile, Larry Gura, although allowing 10 hits, was totally in control.
3-2 pitch from Gura to Brown. There goes the runner, a fly ball center field, and playable. Amos Otis is there. He's got it. The inning is over.
Slow curve, struck him out. Reggie Jackson knew it. High chopper to short. Washington gets a nice big hop over to White for the force out on Cerone. And the Yankees are gone in the top of the 6th.
In the 7th, George Brett caught hold of one of reliever Ron Davis' deliveries and deposited
Brett,
it.
a good 2-strike hitter. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. High fly ball, well hit left center. Back goes Bobby Brown to the wall. Home run! Brett got it out of here to the opposite field. It is 5-2 Royals.
In the 8th, the Yankees brought in Tom Underwood, and he too was roughed up.
Underwood throws a let-up, and it's whacked into left center field. Bobby Brown going back, and it's over his head to the wall. Porter scores. White scores on the double by Wilson. 7-2 Royals.
Larry Gura then took care of the Yankees in the 9th, and the Royals were 1-up in the series.
Here's the stretch, the 3-2 pitch. Popped up. It's playable. Darrell Porter in front of the Royal dugout. It's over. The Royals get the jump on the Yankees. Final score in the first game of the American League Championship Series. The Royals 7, the Yankees 2.
The next night, the Yankees sent the league's ERA leader, Rudy May, to the mound to try and halt the Royals' surge. The Royals countered with 20-game winner Dennis Leonard. After 2 scoreless innings, the Royals strung together 4 straight hits in the third that accounted for 3 runs.
Lined into right field, that's going to be a base hit. And the Royals have their first hit of the game. Darrell Porter lines a solid single to right. Base hit, right field. Darrell Porter around second is going to hold right there. Frank White down in the count 0-2. Never caught that pitch. He just reached out and went the other way and grounded a single into right. Hot shot, base hit down the right field line. It'll be extra bases. Porter around third to score. Here comes Frank White to score. Willie Wilson tearing for third. They're going to hold him with a triple. 2-0 Royals. Washington swings away, drills one to left center field. On the move, it's all the way to the wall. Wilson's going to score. Washington at second base, standing up with a double. It is 3-0 Royals.
It stayed that way until the 5th inning, when the Yankees narrowed it to a 3-2 game. First, Greg Nettles, who had been out of the lineup since early August with hepatitis, hit an inside-the-park home run.
Pull it he does, and deep to right field. Back goes Wathan to the warning track, to the wall. Leaps high, and it's off the top of the wall. Nettles around second on his way to third base. Nettles is going to try to score. Frank White's throw to the plate. Here he comes. He is safe at the plate. The ball rolls away from Porter. And inside the park home run.
Then, after a walk to Bobby Brown, Willie Randolph lashed a double, and it was a 1-run ball game.
Pitch is made, and Randolph loops one into short right field. In comes Wathan, makes the catch. Now he drops the ball as he fell down. Here comes Brown to the plate. Here's the throw from Wathan, not in time.
In the 8th, the Yankees threatened to tie it up, but the Royals' defense responded.
Line drive, left field, base hit to the corner. Let's see if they try to score Randolph. Wilson up with the ball. He gets it into Brett. Brett turns and fires to the plate, and he is going to be out at the plate.
In the 9th, the Yankees' Reggie Jackson led off with a single. Out of the bullpen came the Royals' ace, Dan Quisenberry. And after a few anxious moments, he put out the fire.
The pitch to Nettles. Double play ball to White. He's got it. Fumbles to second, out to first. Out. They got them both. The Royals have won it 3-2. And the Royals have pushed the Yankees to the end.
So the Royals were up by 2 games. One more victory, and they were the American League champions. However, that one win would have to come at Yankee Stadium. Not the easiest place to play. The Royals sent left-hander Paul Slidorf to the mound to be opposed by the Yankees' 22-game winner, Tommy John. The game was scoreless through the first 4 innings. Then in the 5th, Frank White, who was to be the playoff MVP, hit a home run.
TJ, as they call him, gets the sign. Now the pitch. He goes up hacking and a long drive to left. Back goes Piniella. She's gone. A home run. Yes, sir. Frank White went after the first pitch and buried it deep into the left field seats. And the Royals have taken a 1-0 lead.
But in the 6th, the costly error by White led to 2 Yankee runs, and it looked as though this series might have to be resolved another day. However, in the 7th, with 2 out, Willie Wilson doubled. The Yankees opted to go with their big man out of the bullpen, Goose Gossage. After he was touched for an infield single by UL Washington, he had to face George Brett.
Now Brett steps in. Gossage ready to pitch. Swinging a high fly ball. Deep right field. There she goes. Home run. Home run by Brett. And the Royals lead 4-2. George Brett hit it in the upper deck off Gossage, and the Royals lead.
The Yankees now had their backs squarely against the wall. In the 8th, they loaded the bases, but where Gossage had failed, Quisenberry succeeded.
Here's the stretch. And the pitch. Line drive to Washington. Throw to second, double play. Rick Cerrone hit a bullet. Washington to his right, captured the line drive. Fired to Frank White, and Reggie Jackson is doubled off second. The 1-0 pitch to Spencer, bouncing ball, Frank White. He's got it, over to first. The inning is over. They had the bases loaded and nobody out and failed to score.
Now it was countdown time to the Kansas City Royals' first American League championship.
2-1 to Nettles. High fly ball. Don't worry about it. Center field. Amos Otis under the ball. One away. The pitch. Popped up. Left field. Willie Wilson is there. And the Royals are 1 out away. Bobby Brown flies to left. And here is Randolph. The 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Kansas City, you've got a World Series. The Royals are champions of the American League. Dan Quisenberry gets the strike past Willie Randolph, and the Royals have won the American League pennant.
And now Royals manager Jim Frey. How do you feel?
No, I feel great. I really do. I feel so proud because you got to feel thankful, because if you get lucky enough to get a great club and a great organization, the people have been outstanding to me all year, and the players have just played their hearts out, and I'm just grateful. That's the only words I can use.
We're standing with pitching coach Bill Connors and Royals relief pitcher par excellence, Dan Quisenberry. Guys, congratulations. Bill, just a super job with the pitching staff this year.
Well, thank you very much, Denny. It was a pleasure to work with these guys. They're an outstanding group of individuals, and we worked hard, and we were together, and that was the main thing. And I'm just so proud of these guys. It was the biggest thrill of my life.
You know, one of the things that went through my mind, Quiz, when I was watching you pitch out there was what Kent Tekulve did for the Pirates in the Fall Classic last year, and when you were nailing down the Yankees there, why, that's kind of a neat comparison, because I know you've modeled yourself after Tekulve. He helped you last year. What were your thoughts during the 7th, 8th, 9th innings?
7th inning, I thought I had pretty good stuff, and I got a ground ball, and it was just a little bit up the middle, so Frank couldn't make the play. And then I made a bad pitch to Cerrone to give in the second run, and so I didn't have good location that inning. The 8th inning, I got a little tight. It was a little bit too noisy for me. I couldn't turn down the volume. I was looking for Cotton, and I was trying to get Billy Connors to come out and talk to me, but he's tired of talking to me. He's been talking to me all year, and he just didn't want to talk to me one more time. So, I got once Cerrone hit in the double play, and then in the 8th inning, I knew it was wrapped up.
And now George Brett. George, congratulations. What a night.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my God, what a feeling, Denny. What a feeling.
How about running around the bases?
The biggest kick I got was seeing how quiet 56,000 people could be. I've never heard it so quiet here, and it was great.
It was on to the World Series, the ultimate trip in baseball. If you're a player, it's what you've dreamed about since your youth. If you're a fan, it is what you root for day in and day out. The Royal opponents, the Philadelphia Phillies. In Game 1 in Philadelphia, the Royals took an early 4-0 lead on a pair of 2-run homers by Amos Otis and Willie Aikens.
No score in the 2nd inning. Right-hander walk delivers, and a breaking ball is whacked to left field. Lonnie Smith going back to the warning track, and it is gone. So Amos Otis. What was that song about Miss Otis regrets? Mr. Otis doesn't have any regrets at all. He just hit a breaking ball over the left field fence, and just like that, Kansas City leading 2-0. And Aikens hits a high fly ball into right center field. McBride going back, away back to the wall. It's gone over the right center field wall. And everything is up to date in Kansas City. It's 4-0 Royals.
The Phillies countered with 5 runs in the 3rd and single runs in the 4th and 5th to take a 7-4 lead. Then in the 8th, Willie Aikens hit his second 2-run homer of the night to pull the Royals within a run.
2 balls and no strikes to Aikens, a big left-hand batter, and he swings and hits a drive to right field. Back goes McBride, away back. It's gone. Willie Aikens' second home run of the night, and it is suddenly 7-6 Philadelphia.
However, Tug McGraw came out of the Phillies bullpen to shut the door, and the Royals lost Game 1 7-6. The Royals lost Game 2 6-4. So now it was home to Kansas City, down 2-0. The Royals were in desperate need of a win. And in Game 3, George Brett got them started in that direction.
2 down, bases empty, 1st inning, no score. Ruthven back, and that's golf down the right field line. Back goes McBride, away back, it's gone. And has he ever revitalized the city of Kansas City with that one swing? And you can feel the hope grow as George Brett drives it out, and Kansas City leads 1-0.
But the Phillies came back to tie it with a run in the 2nd before the Royals went back out in front in the 4th.
0-1 the count, and the pitch to Aikens is swung on and sliced to left field. Lonnie Smith with the ball slicing away. Dives, can't come up with it. It'll roll all the way into the corner. Aikens is to second, making his turn. The big first baseman on his way for 3. He is in there, head first.
So in a 1-1 tie in the fourth, there's a runner at third, one out, and Hal McRae hits a line drive base hit into right center. And the Royals lead 2-1.
But a Mike Schmidt home run in the fifth tied it up again. Then in the seventh, Amos Otis hit his second home run of the World Series.
Fastball and a high drive into deep right field. Back goes McBride, away back at the wall. It's gone. Amos Otis hit it right at the 385 sign. Nate McBride went to the wall and then dropped his arms disconsolately at his side. And would you believe the Royals are leading 3-2 in the seventh inning.
In the eighth, the Phillies came back again to tie it up. It looked like the Phillies might take the lead with 2 on and Mike Schmidt at the plate. But Quisenberry came out of the bullpen to get the big man.
The 1-1 pitch to Mike Schmidt. Quisenberry delivers a broken bat blooper into center. Amos Otis coming on. He's got it. Mike Schmidt broke his bat and hit a dunker, and Amos Otis was there to grab it. So the Phillies get a run on 2 hits and a walk and leave 2 more. They've left 12.
This game was headed for extra innings. In the 10th, a similar situation evolved. 2 on, 1 out, and Mike Schmidt facing Dan Quisenberry.
Bob Boone at second, not a fast runner. And there's a line drive, grabbed by White, steps on second, double play.
In the bottom half of the inning, the Royals had 2 on and 2 out, and Willie Aikens at the plate. He was about to deliver their first World Series win ever.
2-1 to Willie Aikens. McGraw at the belt. And Tubbs' 2-1 pitch is a fly ball into left center. It's going to be through for a base hit, and here comes Wilson to score. Willie Aikens sliced one up the alley in left center field. Gary Maddox unable to get over and flag it. And once the ball hit the rug and went to the wall, it was all over. Willie Wilson was home with the winning run.
The next afternoon, the Royals evened the series at 2 games apiece with a 5-3 win. The Royals struck early with 4 runs in the first inning.
The 2-1 pitch to Willie Wilson. Fastball hit over the head of Bowie into left center for a base hit. Maddox up with the ball. Wilson holding with a single. So Wilson off the bag. Christensen throws it away down the right field line. Wilson is not going to stop at second, and he is into third base steaming on the throwing error by Christensen. Christensen again out of a stretch. The big right-hander delivers, and there's a shot just there inside first, down into the right field corner. McBride playing it very cautiously, so Brett's going to keep on going, and he'll have a triple. George Brett drilled one between Rose and the bag and down in the right field corner. Legs it for a triple. Willie Wilson scores. It is 1-0 Royals. The strike one pitch on the way is hammered to right center field. Back goes McBride. Away back. It's gone. Willie Aikens had to come out and take a curtain call before this game could continue. Aikens hitting his 3rd home run. And there's a solid base hit into center field. And McRae is going for 2. The throw in, he's in there. He just stole it on Gary Maddox. Otis, the right-hand hitting center fielder. And the strike one pitch to Amos. Fastball hammered to right center. Back goes Gary Maddox, away back to the wall. It's off the top of the wall. Now Maddox having trouble picking it up. McRae will score on a double by Otis. 4-0 Royals.
Philadelphia made it a 4-1 game in the second. Then in the bottom half of the frame, Willie Aikens hit his 2nd home run of the game and 4th of the series to give the Royals a 5-1 lead.
Knowles back with a breaking ball, and that's hammered to right field, and that should go. It's away back and gone in the Kansas City bullpen.
The Phillies narrowed it to a 5-2 game in the 7th. It would have been worse if not for this catch by Willie Wilson.
Right-hander ready, comes to the plate, and Boone drives one into left field and deep. Wilson going back, the ball over his head, and he one-hands it over the shoulder. Tagging to score is Trio, but what a play by Wilson.
In the 8th, the Phillies scored again, and it was now a 5-3 contest. Once again, Dan Quisenberry came on to relieve Dennis Leonard, and he suppressed the Philadelphia rally and put them down 1-2-3 in the 9th.
The 3-1 pitch to Boone is a bouncer down to short. Washington over to Aikens. They're all even.
That was the last hurrah for the Royals as they lost games 5 and 6. But as they look back on the 1980 season, they can boast of many good things. They were the American League champions, something 13 other teams would gladly brag about. They had participated in one of the most exciting World Series in years. They know there is one more mountain to be scaled, one more goal to be reached, and that might happen next season.